My name is Anil Kandola. I studied Multimedia Sports Journalism at UCFB, and I'm now an assistant producer, reporter, and also a producer now at talkSPORT, so a little bit of everything here, yeah. Well, yeah, it changes pretty much day to day. Normally I'm an assistant producer, which means that I help out on specific shows and stuff like that. I do a lot of work on the Sports Bar, which is 10 to 1 with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. A show that you always get your calls in after a big match week, so it's bonkers really. It's always fun, it's fast paced, that's a couple of days of the week, and then Sunday I'm working on a show called Sunday Session. That's again normally an assistant producer job, getting everything ready for the show and bringing you 5 hours, the longest show we have on talkSPORT. So yeah, that's amazing. At the moment in the transfer window, I'm also producing a transfer podcast, the Transfer Notebook, with Jim White, who's obviously Mr. Deadline Day, and then our chief football reporter as well, Alex Crooks. I'm fortunate enough to go on air to talk sometimes about Manchester United, the team I support for all my sins, and yeah, reporting on Wembley Way. I've done some incredible things, thankfully, and I'm super grateful for the opportunities I get here, yeah. I can remember when I first got here, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later, but I had a work experience week here and I got in the first day, and obviously I've listened to talkSPORT since I was 14, 15 years old. And to see these people that you listen to and put a face to the name, and of course now it's so much more visualised, you can really see all the presenters and stuff, but then it was just radio, and to see all of these individuals that you listen to, all of these famous people. I remember getting in on that Monday of the week experience, and I put my head down for all of it. I was just like, I can't believe it. That's Andy Goldstein, who I listen to every day, or that's Darren Bent, who I had in my ultimate team when I was a bit younger. And then I remember thinking, right, the next day I have to make a point of talking to everyone. I might not get this opportunity again. So yeah, sometimes even now it's a bit of a pinch me moment where Andy Goldstein's messaging me about the new trainers he's bought and stuff like that. So yeah, it's still an amazing feeling. It's really crazy when you look back at how many things link or lead on to where you are today. So obviously I studied sports journalism at UCFB at the Etihad campus. It was something that I always wanted to do, combining my love for English language and then also media. So I thought, right, this is perfect for me. And I remember there was a module that we did at UCFB where we basically put together a news show. That was one of the modules where the whole class was involved, and we all got different jobs. Rather unfortunately, I wasn't actually in on the day that everyone put themselves forward for what role they wanted. So I got editing the podcast. Now bearing in mind, I haven't got a clue at editing at this point, didn't have a Scooby on where to start, but somehow managed to navigate my way through and thinking, I don't want to do this. This is nothing of what I want to do. And you fast forward a couple of years and my first proper role here was in the social media team editing videos. So it is crazy how things lead on, even when you don't think it's directly what you want to do. The skills that you do learn and you pick up at somewhere like UCFB where it's so tailored to the industry, I think is absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's like I said, it's quite crazy when you think about the experiences that you get at UCFB and how they can lead on to where you are today. So UCFB, I was obviously, the first ever bit of experience that I actually got was through UCFB. It was at Accrington Stanley. There was, yeah, exactly, who are they? And there was an opportunity there where they wanted to enhance their media coverage, doing podcasts or documentaries on some of the great people that work there at the club. And that was my first taste of, putting a microphone on, gelling my hair a little bit back then and stuff like that. So yeah, that was the first bit of adrenaline almost that I got of working in this industry and doing that type of stuff. And then obviously I left university. It was during COVID, so it was a bit of a strange ending. I worked actually at Royal Mail sorting parcels out just to get a bit of money and keep myself ticking. And then after applying for loads of stuff, I actually got a job for 6 months working for Reach, which is obviously a part of, Manchester Evening News was a part of Reach, and I was writing articles about Manchester United. I did a couple of podcasts and stuff like that for them. Honestly, I just think it doesn't feel like a job. I'm obviously based in Coventry, so I travel back and forth to London into the office at talkSPORT, and yeah, it can get a little bit heavy sometimes, especially on the way back when you just want to get home and you realise you've barely got to Watford. So yeah, it can get heavy, but genuinely I could spend all day here, and I'm not just saying that. The people working here are amazing, and I remember we actually had a guest come in that I booked for the Transfer podcast, and he was in awe. Bear in mind, he works for a massive organisation himself, and he was just bemused at how amazing this place is, looking at the views and everything and how crazy it feels to work somewhere like this. it's just, it's beyond belief sometimes that I'm so fortunate to work at a place like talkSPORT. So yeah, I think that's one thing I'll always try and keep throughout my career, is to be grateful at the fact that it's not a job. It's something that I would do for free, you know, and thankfully I get paid for it as well. So that's always good. Well, when it comes to the skills that I enhanced myself with from my sports journalism degree at UCFB, it sounds cliche, but pretty much everything that I did, you know, like I said before, the editing, it was something I was never interested in. I thought it was far too technical for me and I just couldn't do it. I got pushed out of my comfort zone, obviously through one of the modules that we did there, and, you know, it led me to doing nearly a year in the social media team at talkSPORT. And, you know, I've done some stuff outside of talkSPORT, whether it be my own podcast or some pages that I do some interviewing journalists and stuff for. It's just helped me so much. That's just, I think, one small example. You know, it does really help you. The lecturers, I'm still in touch and contact with a couple of them via LinkedIn and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it just really does prepare you for the future and what it can be like. It gives you that right balance of having really good opportunity and being around so many amazing things, places and people, but then also it reminds you that there's work to be done.